All right. So, ladies and gentlemen and gamers, I've seen Fate Zero, and I have almost no fucking time today because League released their patch notes, which I have to review, and I have to make a review on Spidey Man. So, we're gonna try and keep this quick and concise. But let me just say, I enjoyed Fate Zero a lot more than I did Stay Night. So, a little backstory on this. I originally started with Fate Zero in high school when my friends told me to watch it because they're like, yeah, it's a good anime. And I was just getting into anime, so I was like, okay, let me watch it. And I was so put off by this show because the beginning was so fucking confusing to me because if you don't explain things from the start and you're showing things that I should kind of have an understanding of but don't, even though they do a good job of explaining it later, that initial beginning part of they don't explain it or like they do things that I just don't understand, not having watched Fate Stay Night yet, Saber Route of course. I was just so off put by it. I was like, this is stupid. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why they're doing it. I'm not watching this. This is dumb. So after watching Stay Night, Saber Route, '06 original, and the shit show that was, it's definitely dated. And then going to this and having like a background, it definitely helped. I'm basically comparing something that I thought was okay, but is realistically shit in the whole grand scheme of Fate, to something that's actually fucking good. So the first thing I'll say is it finally really looks like they had Fate animation, not nasty fucking Stay Night '06 Saber Out animation. Shiro and some of the characters in that shit looked ugly as hell. I can finally say that in Zero, it actually starts looking like the Fate style. And I'm very happy about that because it's unique and I actually do like the way the Fate style looks. Now, speaking of style, this man here, this man here, fucking Kiritsugu Emiya. My god, do I love his character. Do I love his character and do I love this route? Well, it's not really a route. Do I love this I guess prequel? Just because it's so much more better written story-wise. It goes so much more in-depth into characters. Now, obviously I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to Stay Night, so if you haven't watched Stay Night or watched my opinions on Stay Night, go fucking watch it. But in Stay Night, they literally just ignore some characters. Look at fucking Kukulane, right? Kukulane comes in the beginning, stabs Shiro in the heart with a curse that can't regen, doesn't heal. Any wound the spear inflicts doesn't heal, but it magically heals like 3 fucking times for Shiro because of fucking Avalon. But it's like, it was so stupid because you see Kuku in the beginning, you see Kuku in the end, and he gets like nothing else. I guess you don't even get like backstory for some of the people. It was so bad. It was just so bad. In this one, they go more into depth into a lot of the servants. And if they don't go into depth in the servants, then they at least make up for it with how the servants interact with the masters and the relationship of each, right? The closest thing we got in Stay Night original was probably the teacher's relationship with Medea. That was probably the closest we got. And it was like, what, 2 seconds of him picking her up off the fucking, like, rain and helping her in the temple. And then she, like, grew, like, horny for him. Like, okay, cool. And this one, we have fucking Iskander and Waver. We got Gilg and Tokiomi. And I'm not going to spoil, but some other stuff. We got the complicated relationship between Saber and my boy, Kiritsugu here. It was so good. The relationships they do between the characters are so good. And then some of the servants are just so likable, and some of them are just so not likable. But in a good way, not like in a bad way. Like, they're not likable because they're written well to be assholes. I'm looking at you, Gilg. Even though I love Gilg. But Darmood and fucking Iskander, favorite characters of the season. Easily. I love the people who are nice, the people who are honorable, and the people who have like a code that they have to follow. And it's not a fucked up code. I love these fucking people. The story, leagues above fucking Stay Night. original. It's so good. And it's sad. And it's fucking sad. This shit is so fucking sad. Oh my god. This guy, Elijah, when I first started watching, was there, and he said, this guy gets sucked. Oh my god, is that fucking true? This story, Fate Zero, the prequel story, is very sad. There's just a lot of sadness in it, mostly revolving around Kiritsugu. But there's some sadness for other characters too, some servants as well, some masters. There is some happiness, but not much, because it is the Grail War. The Grail War is very sad. But overall, and I mentioned this before, but what I really like is that Stay Night introduces, and whenever I say Stay Night again, I'm talking about the OG one, they introduce a lot of concepts that I guess were from the visual novel or whatever, that the author wrote in, and I don't know why, but it was like overly complicated with magic circuits and mana cost and consumption and everything, and how some people have more mana than others. That doesn't necessarily disappear in this. It's just way more simplified. Like, the most they'll do is like, okay, everyone has magic circuits, which is what they need to, be a mage. But you don't need to understand how they work. You just need to know, like, they can get messed up, and that mages need them. And that's the extent it goes. I feel like in Stay Night, they try to overcomplicate things by really going in depth, but doing it poorly about explaining just how things work. But in this one, despite it not being in the beginning, over time, they do explain things really succinctly and really well compared to the first one, and I really like it. But not everything is explained well. For instance, there's still some stuff that's confusing, and the biggest thing is, like, just the Grail in general. I think, and mana, how mana works. How mana works, you just gotta swallow, like, the explanation they give you and just be like, okay, it just works. There's no real way to measure it. Like, they don't really go too in-depth in it. For people like me who ask a lot of questions, they just say, okay, it works. Some people are better, some people have more. That's the extent of it. Like, I thought of a couple questions off the top of my head, like, oh, can, like, a master run out of mana? Can, they replenish it naturally? You kind of are led to assume answers to those questions, but sometimes they're not outright answered, and they don't outright need to be. But one thing I still don't like, and it's in every fucking Fate, I think, is just how convoluted the Grail is. Everyone thinks they know what the Grail does. The Grail is supposed to do a certain thing. The way the Grail operates and the rules of it are just so confusing of, like, why does it need to be this way? What does it actually give? What does it require? Who gets the wish? It's just so confusing. In Fate Stay Night, I had a major issue with just how the Grail works and what it really is, and it doesn't get any better in this. The Grail is still confusing as hell, and ironically enough, to me, the Grail is one of the least important parts of the show. I honestly care less about the end of this show of getting the Grail than I care about the journey of getting to the Grail and, like, how they get there, who gets eliminated, what happens with the characters. This prequel actually made me feel and like the characters. In fucking Stay Night, it was funny to watch how bad it was sometimes. I cared for some of them a little bit just because I liked their personalities, but I never really cared for them to the extent I do here. But in general, the Grail is still confusing as hell, and I don't know if, like, it ever really gets fixed, but I guess we'll see, because we're gonna watch more of the Fates. But, and this is with a caveat, most of the characters are actually well scaled this time around. In Fate Stay Night, a lot of the fucking characters were whatever. The battles were stupid. The fighting was stupid. The power scaling was stupid. A lot of it just didn't make sense and was like, okay, like, I mean, again, it's from '06, but I mean, come on, it was really bad. In this one, I can confidently say that every character is at a baseline level of power that's really, really good. But I'm gonna spoil this right now. It's not a big spoiler, but I'm gonna spoil this right now, except for Assassin. In every single Fate, Assassin is shitty as hell. Like, I think this is the Fate where I hope to God this is the worst Assassin we see. literally the class is meant for assassinations. No assassinations happen. The assassin class does nothing. They like to boast like, "Oh yeah, we can do this job. Oh, we'll do it without a problem." They almost do nothing correctly, and in any sort of fight against any other class, they just get bodied. Their class is literally used for character development for other classes. Twice, off the top of my head. Twice I can think of that. Like, oh my god. Assassin is so bad. The assassin class is so fucking bad. It's terrible. It's like, it's just good to watch the characters they do develop with their nonsense. But god damn it, assassin is so fucking terrible. And I'm really sad that, like, that's the only class that I felt was like, it's not even underpowered. It's not even a fucking class. There's a point, and I'm not going to spoil this, but there's a point where assassin's fighting someone, and it's just so one-sided. Even assassin just gives up and basically just ends. They basically let themselves, like, just get brutalized for a little bit, and it's just like, what can they even do? Even like, and they were talking hot shit too, like, yeah, oh, we're so good, da da da, and then they see what they're up against, and they're like, okay, we just give up. Not even trying to fight, we just give up. I don't think assassin assassinates anyone in this entire show. And if they do, it's so, like, minor and a forgettable character, it's, like, stupid. It's so bad. Assassin does not do their role. It's so fucking bad. But, like I said before, the series is really sad. A lot of the characters have very sad stories. You know, Kiritsugu, the biggest one, he's really sad. And I really felt bad. Because, like, you see what their motivations are. Sometimes you disagree. Obviously, there's, like, general tropes of, like, oh, this guy's just sick. This guy's just crazy. Like, you know, they just want nonsense. But some characters, you empathize with what they want, and then seeing them for so long work towards something, and just how it plays out in this show is so sad. They do it very well. The story, mwah, very good. Very sad, but very good. And I hate sad shit, because my life is sad enough, and I already have dark enough thoughts during my day. But god damn, this made it a little darker. Oh, but it's good. Not many shows can do that. This one did. But yeah, the fight scenes are way better choreographed. The fight scenes are cooler. I wouldn't say they're too good. I mean, they're well animated. The animation looks good, despite it being old. So I'm excited to see the newer Fates and see how good they look. But the fight scenes finally were at a level where I was like, okay, it's passable. It's not great. Most of them are just classic sword fights with, like, a couple good scenes here and there. But overall, the fighting is passable. Definitely not on the level of Stay Night, because that one was way worse. Literally, Shiro standing there for 5 seconds until he gets hit. But overall, a lot better. A lot better. So, overall, I think Fate Zero, I'm glad all those years ago I skipped it over, because now I got to see it with friends, and I had a really good time watching it, and it actually made me excited for the future and watching the other Fate series. So, I'll leave it at that. It went a little longer than I thought, but that's okay, because I have to do the Spidey Man review and then patch notes, so I'm basically going to have no time to myself today before I have to go to work and cry tomorrow. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my Fate Zero review, opinion, whatever the fuck this is, and I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm out of here.